All right, this meeting is now being live streamed. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of our online open mic. Today is Monday, June 5th, 2023. My name is Richie David Marrufo, and I'll be your host and MC tonight. And this is an online mic being broadcast here on YouTube. We are recording this session through Zoom, but of course, we are not constrained or contained to one particular place. We're going to be jumping around from location to location, all around the country, even the world. We do have at least one person signed up internationally today. But if this is your first time here, welcome. It's great to have you. I'm glad you found your way towards us. As always, we have a dynamic list of readers. I think as of right now, all of our readers have been here in the past. We have been doing this show since April of 2020. In that time, we've welcomed the space to many, many performers. You can go back and watch all of those shows pretty much, with the exception of the very, very first one we did. It was the unaired pilot, but otherwise every single Monday, all the way back to April of 2020, when we started these, is there, and there's an archive of them, and many of them have been, there's timestamps provided by Kit Wren here, who helps out. He helps with the tech side of things and often sometimes steps in the co-host. But like any other open mic, if you want to perform, all you have to do is sign up. We do have a sign up sheet available through our social media. We do have a link tree that we usually post that in. It's linktree/El Paso BWOMS. Of course, Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. That's the acronym. If you follow us there, I usually post it the weekend before. If you're tuning in right now and you're thinking about performing or signing up, I will add the link at some point during the show after I start this intro and people start performing. Check the description and you could probably find the link there because I think we do have a little bit of room. Otherwise, you're welcome to join us the following week or the following week after that. There's always a great chance to get started. So each performer gets about 5 to 7 minutes to do their thing. You're more than welcome to share new work, old work, experimental work, hypothetical work. Maybe not hypothetical work, just share work. But you're also more than welcome to share covers, something we call the cover poem. The tradition we have here, if you have a fancy hat or just any hat, you can throw it on to close off. And that's just a tribute to anyone who has published out there in the world. Someone maybe famous or well-known, or even just your neighbor, right? Or your grandma. You're like, hey, I found this journal, and my grandma wrote this. It's a great way to share other people's works and give tribute to that as well. Other than that, we love to know that you are here listening and supporting. So if you're watching this live, we do have a live chat. Definitely encourage you guys to participate in that. Let us know where you're listening in from, and then of course, give a shout out to all the people that you enjoy. If there's any lines that stick out to you, let us know which ones really mean something to you, or if you can relate to any of the contents of the poems, or if you learn something new. You get a variety of all sorts of things here at the open mic. But of course, if you're watching this later on during the week, if you're watching the replay, we'd love to still have you interact as our audience. And we do have a comment section. Leave a comment, same stuff, where you're listening in from. And if you write yourself, the water's fine. You could dip your toe in the pool and just check it out a couple times. But if you ever do want to read, it's just easy. All you have to do is click the link to sign up. Just make sure it's the right date. I do change the link every week. But other than that, we're here for you. With that said, I think I covered everything. Usually I forget stuff, but that's it for now. So we're going to go ahead. Like I said, we're going to be jumping around through the magic of Zoom, the internet, and technology. We're going to go ahead and go straight from El Paso, Texas, Chucotown, all the way to the East Coast, Upper East Coast, and say hi to our main man from Maine. It is time. And also he leaves some cool bio notes. So according to him, sometimes one has to travel to nowhere to arrive at a worthwhile place. I should start a fortune cookie company. It's not good. It's not a bad idea with his awesome titles. I think he'd make some awesome fortune cookie sayings. So driving onto the bridge no more. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage Generalissimo Brian Franco. Go ahead and take it away, my friend. Good to see you. Happy Monday.
Sort of, maybe not. Rough day. Let's read some pieces from my book called Everything I Think Is All in My Mind. The first poem is called Distression. I feel distressed Or is it stressed? Maybe I'm distressed because I'm stressed and possibly depressed. But I've been so depressed so much sometimes I'm oblivious to the fact that I'm depressed, which is distressing and quite stressing and inevitably depressing, which I can only qualify as stressful and distressful and a little too full of anything I want anyways. The next poem is called The Cover Man Cometh. I am a champion cyclist, not bicycles, emotions. I do it all. Ups, downs, inside, outs, round and rounds, hills, valleys, twists, turns, loop-de-loops, and half pipes. I actually bore a hole through a solid granite mountain to create a shortcut I used only once. Yes, I am a champion cyclist. My face has been on the cover of Psychology Today thrice. For the 3 times I have won the Tour de France by simply riding out anxieties. And this last poem is Because Dervishes Still Whirl on Hotter Than July Nights. I am standing still, stagnating, while the world around me is swirling and twirling. My existence is being dizzied by whirling dervishes that may only exist in my imagination by virtue of anxiety or doctor-prescribed medication. I feel I've fallen into an eddy, drowning, trying to climb out, fingers haplessly gripping water droplets to no avail. But I am not in any body of water, except maybe a sweat-soaked pillow on an extremely hot, humid, unair-conditioned July night. I stand by my assessment that Stevie Wonder's Hotter Than July is undisputably one of the top 5 soul music albums of all time. I am no longer 54, but 14, obsessed with Stevie's music, having tried tequila for the first time, having had 1 or 2 shots too many. My brother Paul walks me up 2 flights of stairs to my bedroom, pushes his drunken brother onto my bed, and walks away cackling like a Shakespearean witch. I'm on my back horizontally on a vertically oriented bed. My brain tries to instruct me how to reorient my head to my pillow. The ceiling starts spinning relentlessly like a possessed wheel of fortune, minus a smiling Vanna White. But this is just a memory of a middle-aged man living in self-imposed isolation in a pandemic, who feels like tiny tornadoes follow him around, selectively sucking any common sense or creativity left in his being out from his brain through his ear sockets without lifting his substandard mass into the airborne eddies. Maybe I should follow the advice of the mystic poets who advise to celebrate life by dancing instead of watching others dance, become a whirling dervish in my own right, because the dervishes teach us if we teach ourselves to whirl and twirl, we are not culturally appropriating, but we have learned by watching them how to not let life make us feel falsely dizzy. Gracias, everyone.
Wow, man. Thank you, Brian, for sharing those. That last advice is so perfect, especially when things aren't feeling the best. Thank you for bringing us back to that. Do you have anything you'd like to promote right now? Any links, upcoming features, promos before we move on?
Well, I'll talk about some things on the 21st of this month. I'm going to be doing a live feature in Haverhill, Massachusetts. And I thought it was going to be like a little thing in a coffee house, but it turns out that the poetry organization has a community television show open mic. And that's going to be a really fun thing. And they're actually, since I'm driving 3 hours, they're going to put me up in a hotel, which is wow. And then on the last weekend of July is the New York Poetry Festival, and I'm hosting and reading at the stage for The Word Is Right, along with Ray Jane and a few other people who I can't think of right now. And the Friday beforehand, I will be doing a gig in Norwalk, Connecticut for FUMFA, and I think a couple of people have read for FUMFA's open mics online. So it's a really cool thing to do a live thing that night. So thanks.
Very cool. Thank you so much. And I'm happy to hear about all these features, man. Definitely. And if you have any links as well, please leave them in the chat and I'll go ahead and forward those to all the people, our fine people here on YouTube. But that's super cool. A TV broadcast open mic. I did something similar for a little while in El Paso, but it was mostly music. I would have loved to include more poets. Maybe with my experience, I can get something like that going again. But no, thank you so much for sharing that. I really felt that last piece. So many of us, we during that pandemic where it went through some heavy times, and just looking at your call to the dervishes, I got to see them dance live, and I was in the front row seat, and that's just mesmerizing experience. Um, but let's go ahead and continue, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and go along to Pittsburgh. We have many phenomenal poets on the list, including our next performer. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage Vale Larkin. Hey, Vale.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, thank you.
Good. Okay, I've got 3 today. And I decided if I was going to be kind of obscure and abstruse, I might as well do it 3 times in a row. Sorry. Observations of oxygen. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was life. This is what we tell each other, whispering from our houses out into the desolation that lies between all of us. Observation is causation, we say, snickering about slits and particle guns, like we can recreate creation by pointing at a target hard enough. Once upon a time, I told myself, there was a world. The world was life, and life was the world, every single solitary sliver of it. We lived as all live, in concert with our natures, shameless and unburdened. We have crossed oceans and tectonic phenomena in our quest for more and farther, so we can reach ceaselessly. So we strive where we once stood, race where we once paced with our weakest and slowest. We unleash what we would have shunned. We are undone by ambition and self-delusion. We believe, therefore they are, we say of gods. We know, therefore they become, we say of children. We see, therefore it is, we say of this real moment right now. Reaching beyond nature, we found manipulation. Beyond mercy, we found murder. Beyond humanity, we found slavery. Beyond hope, we made commerce. And beyond life, we build an end to ourselves. Observation is causation, we think, picturing the end of our world. In 1774, after nearly 400,000 years of us, in a country not yet born when the world ended the first 100 times, Mesopotamian to Mayan, watching it all come crumbling down again, a teacher discovered the existence of a gas called oxygen. Clearly, knowledge makes all things possible. My body time machine grabs me back again, by the nose this time, so sweet, so sharp, so filling up a sinus space and exploding in my brain like firework flowers, like the moment you first kissed me beneath the blossoms on the wall. And now that spring seizes and stretches them down and down again, their scent unleashes Saturn, and I am pulled back to your embrace. My body time machine breaks in all the ways you broke me up and stacked me higher. I can taste the threads of gold you used to piece my fragments, so careful to find how they hang together naturally, so quick to catch the slightest slip of a sliver, nothing lost, no misshapen seams. Exactly the art I was always, and only glowing veins to echo the smashing past. My body time machine is slicing through the years like surf, riding their ripples. My body time machine is swimming up and over again to see the farthest peaks of the past, count the bubbles in their foam, and feel again your body firm flesh and giving skin, the tickle and press of your chest on mine, and how we allied, flowing together, our liquid affinity for sharing our space. My body time machine makes eons light, but massive moments, so heavy they pull years into their paths, call to us siren sweet, and we sweep around again to meet them, gracious greeting. Then their overwhelming presence in the present like past was nothing, a rumor of distance where there is only unity, you and me and our orbits intertwined, and I meet you here and now in the instant of our being together. I meet you then for the first time, and I find your arms around me always. And I read this piece sort of last week, but I've made a lot of changes to it, so I'm reading it again. I dreamed of God and how to get there. I dreamed of God in the corner, and God is watching God make daisies for small insects, and God is watching God kill a child, and God is watching us dig deep as we can to bury all of our children, like daisy seeds buried in dirt made of dead flowers. I dreamed God's voices are all our voices, the voices of our fellow tree creature stones, and the voices of the stone trees on scattered, gathered planets around so many stars, and the voices of the stars between them and their worlds. I dreamed we were one, within God, within us. Is this the way we slid from the mind of God? Our ignition, our dissociation, and our downfall from godness and grace into fractured reality. And here it was, all in a bang. Life, strife, time, and turmoil. Everything that God's wisdom had warned us of. Every shredded certainty, scattered to the pieces peace was made of once. Before the beginning, before the wait, the word. God, I dreamed, believes God's self to be a billion trillion sparks. Light and darksome electric absences, and space stuff, and void stuff, all scattered to a wilderness of being, bright and shifting mists and novas, growth and change and change. There is no stillness and no unity here. We flee God, sacred sphere, and mourn our faults and fissures. What do they mean, these fragments of the infinite? Why does God feel closer when I focus on the fractals of a leaf? We so dimly see signs, fading, flowering, and flaming out, but nothing is created or destroyed. So, I love us all now, as I love our rock and tree creature world, and our singing sun, and the vain deep dreaming of the cosmos, and eternity, and us, one with God's joy, and how it will feel when we finally remember it.
Awesome, Bill. That was outstanding. I love it so much. Do you have anything, promotion features to promote right now? Links, all that good stuff.
Anybody who follows me on social media, we just did a recording tonight of a piece of mine called Ritual to Summon Roses, which I've updated, and it includes the names of every trans person murdered in the US since 2020. And we're going to release it as a video with some nice music by a good ally, and be on the lookout for that on my social and other people here, some of their socials. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Definitely that's much needed. So we'll be looking forward to that and pushing it out there as well in the world. Yeah, oh man, that last piece, it reminded me strangely of a quote that one of my friend's daughters said like over a decade ago. She was like a little girl then, but it was so innocent and pure, but it rang this truth. She said, "Everything has feelings, Dad, even people." I'm like, all right, yes. And I felt like that rang a little bit in your piece there. But thank you, Vale, for sharing. Looking forward to always as more. We're going to go ahead and switch time zones. We're going to come back to the mountain time zone and check in with our friend in Denver, our very own lighthouse. Let's go ahead and bring up to the mic, Mike Sindler. Mike on the mic. What is up, man?
Hey, good to see you. I will go ahead and start, as always, put up lighthousewriters.org. Wonderful organization, great things going on. And from the 9th to the 16th, we'll be doing Lit Fest, which is even extra special nice. And as well as the classes and workshops, there are things every evening, and those are all free. And you can access them online. So go to that and look at the catalog and check it out. Speaking of trying to be good allies and all that stuff, I'm going to start out with this piece. It's called Copacetic, something y'all have heard it before. All you people in YouTube land may not. Copacetic. I see you exactly as you're supposed to be. I see you knowing that biology is more than just binary. I see you as authentic, brave, and true. I see you awestruck at how you thrived and grew past torments you were put through. I see you scared and scarred, but not daunted. I see you defeating ghosts that left you haunted, no longer feeling lost and unwanted. I see you as your confidence grows. I see you loving the face your mirror shows, proud of the true self you've exposed. I see you unbroken and unapologetic, compassionate and empathetic. I see you and know that you are copacetic. And do a couple of recent ones here real quick. This one's called Tributaries. Each word or action we express finds purchase in this world of purpose. Pricks or soothes, prunes or nurtures, oft in ways far from what was intended. Hate may break down or make strong. Even love does not always lift. The twists and fits and tribulations flow from tributaries of existence into a larger body of being. The rivulet of hope may meet another, may smooth willful rock of despair. It's not for us to see this ending into ocean beyond petty human emotion. It is only ours to act, to speak, to think into existence what we envisage best. What solitary drop of the cascade, what ripple on reflective surface we add within the moment we can measure. Choose carefully what side of scale you will be measured on. And this one is called Wine Within. You are the wine within the glass, subtle signature, unmistakable essence, sweet with one sip, bitter the next, intoxicating enigma, ineffable and unpredictable, leaving want as an aftertaste. And put on the hat. And again, I thought I'd do something that works well for Pride Month. And this is by Andre Lord. It's called A Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways, coming and going in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward at once, before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hoped to silence us, for all of us, this instant and this triumph we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. Thank y'all very much.
Awesome. I forgot to unmute a little bit there. I was so excited with that last line. Thank you for sharing that, Mike. Appreciate you. Thank you. And of course, check out the Lighthouse Writers. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention to our live show, the public, that Mr. Michael Sindler recently was awarded or honored as the Beat Poet Laureate of the state of Colorado. So congratulations, Mike Sindler. Really quick, I'm gonna go. Oh no, hold on. I gotta get it back on you just really quick. So congrats, Mike. Just want to mention that for the online show. There you are. All right, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, man, we missed that announcement last time. It was brought up at the end of the show. So some of us missed it. Oh, it got blurry. This is what I look like when you're drunk. Okay, no. Okay. Thank you, Mike, as always, for being here. Like I said, you are a lighthouse, and the show would be not complete with you missing. I think one time you missed, and we were like, it didn't feel right. It did not feel right. So we're going to stick around in the Mountain Time Zone. We're actually going to come back to El Paso. That is our base of operation for our next two performers. Right now, we're going to go ahead and hand things over to the Poet Laureate Tumble Words. See, we're drawing threads here. She does have a collection on the way, but lately she's been flexing her Master Gardener skills, which I think is a really cool title as well. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage Robin Schofield.
Thanks, Richie. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday night. That's right. I'm going to be the vegetable specialist for the county. So that's my big accomplishment. I'm going to read an ode because I'm going to teach a Tumble Words workshop on odes soon. So this is called Ode to the Apple. And it's actually based on a poem by Lorca. And this poem won second prize in a poetry contest, but they thought I had gotten mixed up and it should have been after Neruda, because Neruda wrote a lot of odes. But anyway, it's after Lorca. Ode to the Apple. You were Newton's clue, red rose of fruit, freckled with stars. You grew high from the tree of science, swinging with the comets, until you fell on his head that night of the pockmarked full moon, unlike your satin face, produce of the sun. You fell as the moon rose. Skinny young Newton dozed, about to upset the earth and throw it out of the center of the universe, where fell all dreck and mud, according to the alchemists. You're best when held up high on the branch, but do you feel a slight pull from this massive magnet, Earth? How did Newton figure gravity as the arc of falling? You, perfection of fruit, crimson skin, crisp insides, not white, not yellow, dropping while the moon stays hooked in the sky, stuck, wheeling in an imperfect ellipse. Did he taste you as did Eve when she took a bite of you from the other tree of knowledge, as the serpent God advised, before Adam's bruised ribs healed or her wounding began the birth of others. A small price to pay, the bigger price yet to come. With one taste, Adam knew the love he would have, though he had to leave. Ah, apple of paradise, of summer, I get no sudden revelation of knowledge or love from you, just the taste of science as I nibble down to your poison core and art you through the air so that you fall into the trash can, an equation between eye and hand and fruit. I still wonder how gravity adds up, though I observe it every day, including the moon in orbit, and you still attached to your stem, ghost of an apple. Oh yeah, so that's an ode, and I'm going to do that workshop on June the 24th. Then I was looking for this, oops, Myra, my little kitty. Okay, Myra. I was looking for another poem and I found this strange little thing that I wrote after a quote by Frida Kahlo. Train your heart like a dog. So I thought, what if I did that? This is called Heart Training Tips. You must socialize your heart at a young age. Teach it not to be afraid of skateboards and strangers. Always reward it with affection as you put a collar on your heart. Crate train your heart so that it never has an accident in your house. Teach your heart not to bite when it's teething by yelling ouch, and your heart will understand you. Teach your heart to walk on a leash. Teach it not to pull by making it the most fun game ever. Be patient. Never punish your heart. Use treats and a sweet tone, and your heart will become a big muscle of loyalty, love, and wisdom, because it knows when to sit, stay, and come, how to heal down, and of course, no. No. I taught my heart, no. Okay, and for Pride Month, I want to read this poem by by me, but it's about a little known poet named Charlotte Mew, M-E-W. She was an English poet. She was almost modern. She was kind of Victorian. She was born in 1869. When someone at the door of one of your singular readings asked, "Are you Charlotte Mew?" you replied, "I am afraid that I am." You who stood on Asylum Road, not overcome with grief for both your brother and your sister, the beauty, schizophrenics, were able to write it, yes, write it down, devoted to each other. You and Anne, your other sister, wanted nothing to do with offspring. You felt you must change the pronoun whenever you loved someone, because your love was disapproved before you even began to know what it was. One of your so-called friends wrote, "Charlotte is a pervert." Typical Victorian. You looked past that hurt and honed your craft with crazy long, uneven lines, slant rhyme at the ends. Your travels to France ended in heartbreak for you, upended wits for cet obscur objet du désir, for your alarming affections roused no more than ire. You died, foaming at the mouth. A bottle of Lysol, all you could afford for your final act. Such a loss that you burned your last poems, torched with grief for Anne, who died at home of cancer. We can't know how powerful they were. Now that they are gone, But you are not, for you live in words, the farmer's bride again, fey creature in the world of men. Okay, that's my time.
All right. Thank you, Robin. And how can
no
people
kidding.
connect with you online?
Oh yeah, I'm on Facebook, and I'll be announcing my publication date draws near, and I'll be announcing some readings, including a Zoom reading. Mouthfeel Press will be doing a Zoom reading for me, and then I'll definitely have a reading at Aaron and George's Film Cafe and some other places perhaps. I'll be putting all that together soon.
All right. All exciting news. Very cool. We're looking forward to that. All right. Robin Schofield, everyone. Yes. We're going to go ahead and stick around in El Paso, and we got a short story up next. Let's go and welcome to the stage. Let's hear it for DC. Go and take it away. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm sharing, I guess you could say, a short story here tonight called Magic Mirror. The sour smell of troll's blood lingered on Prince Balthazar's coat. The servants in the castle had spent an hour cleaning it while the heir to the kingdom went to the high tower and sat in a carved tub of lapis lazuli. The prince was crying. He had good reason to weep. Apart from a dozen slain trolls, the prince had killed a minotaur and a rabid flock of blood sheep, and despite the sufferings of his journey, his hunger and thirst, the Princess Valerie had rejected him, just like he knew she would. This was the third time Prince Balthazar had asked for her love and was dismissed. But what hurt the most was the princess's dismissive comment, "And your breath, ew." 2 hours later, with a feeling of rejection and embarrassment, Balthazar found himself in his fustian tunic, a mug of mead in his hand, sitting in front of the magic mirror. The Queen of Urdale had bought her son the magic mirror when he had turned 30 and regularly pressured him about using it. No matter how many dragons he killed or armies of communal dwarves he defeated, his mother would remind him, "There are so many wonderful girls out there, so many princesses you could meet. I think it's worth a shot." Not that Prince Balthazar hadn't thought about it. The whole process felt offensive. He felt like a serf in a market when he used the browse feature. Idly, he had used the magic mirror and looked at the panoply of royal and beautiful women, but he never produced blood and touched the glass. To Prince Balthazar, the whole thing felt like cheating. Now he was about to do the thing that he was dreading. He remembered what the queen had said not 2 weeks ago at her mandatory monthly dinner. She had said, "You know, son, if you flip the mirror upside down, you can also meet royal young men who are looking for company. I wouldn't think less of you. I just want you to be happy," as his mother daintily ate a piece of roast beef. Thinking of Valerie, he dragged his thumb across the tip of the sword and touched the magic mirror. Balthazar skipped through the elderly wizard who attempted to explain the mirror and its features. He had plenty of options. He could search for royal mates by distance, wealth, land, titles, curse, and magical rank of fairest to least fairest of them all. There was a remarkably beautiful girl, a commoner, whose family owned a nearby brewery. She identified herself as a career woman. Balthazar moved on. When he was 19, the prince had tried to win the hand of a stunning dark sorceress named Sally the Necromancer. She was bubbly, pretty, and sweet in an evil way, but all she wanted to talk about was sinister magic and destroying all life. Career women were out. The number 4 ranked princess was a golden maiden. She wanted to marry and have a family, had a master's in princess studies, and was only protected by an ice giant. A decent victory, but Balthazar noticed the reviews. 1.5 stars. He kept reading. A prince from the distant land of Gaddox had given her 1 star and a 1-word review: cats. The prince went back to the images. In one, there was a cat, or two cats, or many cats. Prince Balthazar, the master of horse of the royal heir to the Confederation of Urdale, swiped left. A chime sounded. A lady named Princess Anne of the Forbidden Islands sent him a message. Hi, saw your profile. Would you like to have dinner? I know you're about 9 days away, but I'm only guarded by a knoll. Interested? She had a heart-shaped face, thin lips, and looked his own age. Smiling, Balthazar touched the thumbs up floating in the corner. A chime sounded. Feeling hopeful, he turned the mirror off and picked up his sword.
Awesome. Thank you, DC. Do you have anywhere where we can follow, support your work?
Not really, not yet. Maybe someday.
Alrighty
But-
then. Well, we'll be here. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Wanted to see where that was going, and then it ended abruptly. I was like, oh, and then awesome. And I have the perfect segue because we're going to go from DC the person to DC the city. That's right. We're going to go ahead and visit Parquillian, who's got a little bit of his poetry with us. Once again, Martin Parker, aka Parquillian, is a lifelong language nerd, fascinated by poetry, calligraphy, and learning how the world's languages work and are interconnected. These passions have coalesced into a calling to share his multilingual word art and poetry with the world. Something I learned ambigrams from him. Martin Parquillian, go ahead and take it away. Welcome back, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Richie. Wonderful intro. I thought I'd start here with another one of my elegies. This is for a friend of mine who passed away a few years ago from cancer. But when we were getting to know each other, we found out that we are distantly related. So this is called Sparks of Brilliant Blue. You always felt much closer than a seventh cousin once removed. The way your noble inner soul would shine through your eyes with a radiant hue and fill the room with echoes of joy, like flickering sparks of brilliant blue that flew from the pan that we would witness experimenting with spirits from Greece, consumed by flames that were azure tinted. We set to ooze over melting cheese. We had to quickly hide the clues and fan away the lingering haze before your parents got home that night. Your great-grandparents in bygone days had held the very same mission post where my father's parents would later at camp, another bond in the Mexican hills, like those above a Catoctin camp, where we would joust on prows of canoes in jests that toppled me into the blue, my lenses descending to indigo depths, the way your health would later do. But farther back on friendly shores, our common ancestors lived beside the banks of the Perquimans and Pasquotank that ebb and flow with the changing tide within the ancient melody of the sound of marble and perfectly white. They sought to hide from Anglican wrath, traversing beyond the dismal swamp, whose name, like our ancestral line, connected by that colorless word, belied a vibrantly colorful scene of cobalt waters where memories blurred. And winds would whisper through the pines as birds would whirl in a cerulean skies, and deer would roam across the plains you'd capture with your sapphire eyes. And later, once you lost the fight, they'd fly across the memorial blind on slides projected by the light, just like your spirit still floats through my mind. And this is in loving memory of Albert Hartley, whose name can be translated as noble, brilliant, dear, plain. And then this is something from this weekend. I did a guzzle workshop, and this is my first attempt at a guzzle. It's called Behind the Door. A world resides on my refrigerator door, concealing many memories behind the door. Hot lemon pickles and desiccated peppers inhabit the shelves that reside in the door. Quaker spices, a guide for my life, connected by Zoom through a meeting house door. An underground aquarium that is no more, once hidden beneath a commercial door. Reminders of nearly finding a path to artistic vocation through an attic door. Constitutional plates that sound out the words that some would discard through museum doors. An old man engraved into Cherokee wood from when I kept vigil at a sweat lodge door. A crone's prickly blossom embedded in clay, recalling the crooning of bagpipes outdoors. A horse-headed fiddle made with a brush, with chorded rhythms scrolls down the door. Haroofs that calligraph the heart of the aisle, a source of news from a conference room door. Photos and paintings of nephews and a niece who've never seen what's behind my door. A miniature echo of Parkwillian waves that flows across the shop wall beyond the door. And thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Martin. And do you have anything you'd like to promote or share as before we continue on?
Well, as always, you can check out my artwork on parkwillian.com or under Parkwillian on Instagram. Nothing other than that new, but I can put links to the collections I'm in the chat. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if you do have a link, I'll forward that as well to our chat. But for those of you listening, that's pretty easy, right? Just his website. Alrighty then. Parkwillian, everyone. Do you guys like that transition from DC to person to DC to place? That was perfect. I'm like, I see it. I see it happening right there. Again, we're pulling threads. We're following threads tonight. We're going to go ahead and follow that thread back home to El Paso. And we're going to go ahead and bring up our next performer, who is a wearer of many hats, including the literal one he has on his head. Let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Monday Night. Let's hear it for Kit Wren.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you. Hello, everyone here in the Zoom room. Hello, everyone in the future. You look nice. Like what you're doing. Yeah, just going to do one of mine, then I'm going to start a cover story. I think I can divide it into 3 parts, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This one, I wrote in a Tumblewords that Richie hosted, actually. You know, we're all standing on each other's shoulders. The scientists can't figure it out. When you met him, you stopped dreaming. Whether you had good or bad dreams, they stopped. He had ionized your reality and shocked you into restfulness. Some people resented this, could no longer sleep without something happening. So they called him, with that resentment in their voices, Mike the Dream Killer. Mike the Dream Killer was too full of joy to notice the moods around him. He never cared if something was personal. This was true in the courtroom too. Mike got a man off for breaking and entering a car. It was Mike's car. He was definitely guilty. When the verdict of not guilty was read, Mike said, "This is pro bono. Just give me back my laptop. I need that." In asylum court, where villains meet and wax their mustaches, Mike made everyone shave and say sorry. 1 or 2 of them even meant it. Now he has a job doing nothing in particular, deep in the halls of a busy firm. He takes calls in the bar toilets and yells at his office mates about the New Day and CM Punk and the dimensions of the Starship Enterprise. Nobody is sure what he does. but they have never reported better sleep in their lives. And part one of, I think, 3, I think that's how it's going to work. Going back to the well, this is a conversation with my father by Grace Paley, which is similar to the other Grace Paley story I read, but is in fact different. But I get to do that voice again, so it's going to be fun for me. I don't care if it's fun for you. This is my time. Just sit there. A conversation with my father. My father is 86 years old and in bed. His heart, that bloody motor, is equally old and will not do certain jobs anymore. It still floods his head with brainy light, but it won't let his legs carry the weight of his body around the house. Despite my metaphors, this muscle failure is not due to his old heart, he says, but to a potassium shortage. Sitting on one pillow, leaning on 3, he offers last-minute advice and makes a request. I would like you to write a simple story, just once more, he says. The kind of Maupassant wrote, or Chekhov, the kind you used to write. Just recognizable people and then write down what happened to them next. I say, yes, why not? That's possible. I want to please him, though I don't remember writing that way. I would like to try to tell such a story if he means the kind that begins, there was a woman, followed by plot, the absolute line between 2 points, which I've always despised, not for literary reasons, but because it takes all hope away. Everyone, real or invented, deserves the open destiny of life. Finally, I thought of a story that had been happening for a couple of years right across the street. I wrote it down, then read it aloud. Pa, I said, how about this? Do you mean something like this? Once in my time, there was a woman and she had a son. They lived nicely in a small apartment in Manhattan. This boy at about 15 became a junkie, which is not unusual in our neighborhood. In order to maintain her close friendship with him, she became a junkie too. She said it was part of the youth culture with which she felt very much at home. After a while, for a number of reasons, the boy gave it all up and left the city and his mother in disgust. Hopeless and alone, she grieved. We all visit her. Okay, Pa, that's it, I said, an unadorned and miserable tale. But that's not what I mean, my father said. You misunderstood me on purpose. You know there's a lot more to it. You know that. You left everything out. Turgenev wouldn't do that. Chekhov wouldn't do that. There are, in fact, Russian writers that you have never even heard of, you don't have an inkling of, as good as anyone who can write a plain, ordinary story who would not leave out what you have left out. I object not to facts, but to people sitting in trees, talking senselessly, voices from who knows where. Forget that one, Pa. What have I left out now? In this one. Her looks, for instance. Oh, quite handsome, I think. Yes. Her hair, dark with heavy braids, as though she were a girl or a foreigner. Well, what were her parents like? Her stock? That she became such a person. It's interesting, you know. From out of town. Professional people. The first to be divorced in their county. How's that, enough? I asked. Oh, with you it's all a joke, he said. What about the boy's father? Why didn't you mention him? Who was he? Or was the boy born out of wedlock? Yes, I said, he was born out of wedlock. Oh, for God's sakes, doesn't anyone in your stories get married? Doesn't anyone have the time to run down to City Hall before they jump into bed? No, I said. In real life, yes, but in my stories, no. Why do you answer me like that? Oh, Pa, this is a simple story about a smart woman who came to NYC full of interest, love, trust, excitement, very up to date, and about her son. What a hard time she had in this world. Married or not, it's of small consequence. It is of great consequence, he said. Okay, I said. Okay. Okay, yourself, he said. But listen, I believe you that she's good looking, but I don't think she was so smart. That's true, I said. Actually, that's the trouble with stories. People start out fantastic. You think they're extraordinary, but it turns out as the work goes along, they're just average with a good education. Sometimes the other way around. The person's a kind of dumb innocence, but he outwits you. And you can't even think of an ending good enough. We'll leave it there for now. Seamlessly into self-promotion. IG at Kit Ren Away, Twitter Kit Talk Sports, Kofi.com/Kit Ren. Only 3 months away from that being relevant again. You can find me on Facebook, easy enough. You can send me an email, easy enough. We're all modern people. You can drop something into PayPal if you think I deserve to be remunerated. I'd be doing this anyway, but I'd like to have the money if I'm going to be doing this. And of course, the Tumblewords Project. Very excited about this Saturday, where our presenter will be Lee Martinez Soto. Their workshop will be titled Words That Transform. They're already promoting it on their pages, so we love a bit of proactiveness from our from our presenters. We don't require it, but we do love it. And the 24th, as was mentioned, Robin Schofield will be hosting an Ode to Odes. Nothing on the 17th. We're taking Juneteenth weekend off to spread the good news. And that is all from me today. Thank you so much, Richie.
All right. Also, shout out to the Rainbow Warriors t-shirt. They're pretty cool. I remember watching them play at UTEP back in the day. But awesome. Pretty. Oh, that's a cool shirt, man. Like always. All right, let's go ahead and continue. We're going to go ahead and make a little West Coast trip for the next couple of performers. Earlier, you saw the Beat Poet Laureate of Colorado. Now we're going to go to the Beat Poet Laureate of California, and let's go ahead and welcome to the stage Dane Ince from San Francisco. What is going on, Dane? Welcome back.
Good. Yeah. Everything. Let's see. I have a feature at Sacred Grounds on August 9th, and it's going to be a hybrid event. They're starting back to do that again. I'll be posting stuff on social about it. So thanks very much. This first piece is in progress. On the myth and madness of my learning of a poet's death, this day in history, looking back, deepens, differs, depends upon the calendar, canciones, storm warnings, the bearing of gifts, large and wooden sticks and tricks. On Julian calendar, it was Saturday. Console ourselves, not a Thursday. This is what the dust devil said. You have to speak limestone to understand. With our not knowing, know a poem written with shit on sidewalk, written chanting March 24th or April or May, dancing. It was a Thursday, definitely a Thursday. Leap year when you died. The mystics asked and no one listened. Preguntas y respuestas, palabras in New Mexico. Someone holds a celebration in mountains memory. I am held to silence, a burden for sure, but not more than others bear, of ashes left, misunderstanding of it was a leap year. The 3 Mayan calendars silently teach the meaning of each sacred day, writing and worship, the dance we perform, not knowing we are whirling through space for the long dead lyric poet, how the desert sets the sun quietly, Repuestas. Anyone left knows the firsthand elegy, the hymn in praise of what? 1479 is not a leap year. The day of the week was the Thursday. One man died, another ascended the throne, a soldier, a poet, a 480-line poem left behind. They needed a place to unload ships, shipping the cargo on mule teams south along this thumb that is this isthmus. Everything is what we cry about. I see your star shining in the smile of those who loved you. You carry the garden with you, fractal you. It is more than one fever dream. Everybody in the whole town there was some dust up with the king, with the nobles. The gentle, handsome man broke his mother's heart. And a couple more pieces. I'll start off with the haiku. I wade through deep times in solemn, solitary wind chime ringing tone. The pond. I met a woman who lives across the sea. For me, she was more than perfect, deeper and wider than. We met in winter, frozen swan ice. We hoped we could glide mirror smooth across the quiet, starry, bright, clear night before the thaw of endless spring melts us into one ripple in the pond. Sometimes, when you find a way to help others, find a way to help yourself. Heal. Invader. Sitting in a rose room, wisdom blossoms, Magritte smiles, and raindrops of bowler hats. Is it day? Is it night? Before or after? Ship sails, spouses die. Then what? What is there to do now? You know, the war going on there, crossing the Jordan. I'm here, full to fingertips. I do not apologize for finding this now is here. My homeland is this earth. Thank you for your celebrity. Shots in the arm to battle the invader, killing me. Haiku. As it was spoken, like long ago, moonlit night, magic comes to pass. I remember. I curl up into you and just die, or die anyway. I was writing something that I put on the news, drank a diet cream soda. You grilled me on details of a background check. You win. You seem so unhappy. I am resigned. I cannot fix anything. I sobbed on the phone. I resent. I have to accept what he said is correct. I am tormented. Fingernail clippings in the envelope, Pentecostal prison under Texas Sunday sky. I remember. Falcon Light. Be like a broken back vinegaron on cool slab on grade garage. The one on the Lotteria card. We played under the mulberry tree. This is what we called it. We ate berries until we were ill, just up the highway from the dam that held the Rio Grande back, till it floods Guerrero, till it flooded Roma, blood and bloom, thunderclouds reflection on the emerald jewel, Falcon Lake. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dane. You mentioned the feature. How can people also follow and support you online?
Oh, let's see. I'll put, I'll put, I have some Instagram handles and stuff like that. I'll put the links in the thing. I think it's 2019 DMI is for people that don't get to see the links. And on Facebook, Dane ends at Facebook.
All right, cool. Perfect. Thank you so much for making it. As always, appreciate you, Dane. All righty, cool. Hey guys, once again, welcome to our online open mic. We do this every Monday. So if you're watching right now or you're tuning in, again, welcome. And if you do want to perform, we do have some space. There is a link in the description of this YouTube video so you can sign up. That, of course, is only while we're live. You know, if you're watching this after the fact, it's already completed and done. Like, well, either way, enjoy the show. But we do have this every Monday. So join us for a future show if you want to share any of your work. We're going to go ahead and stick around on the West Coast. We're going to go from San Francisco to San Diego. Our next performer has made the trip to El Paso, and then it was a very important moment for me. A little bit once places were opening up a little bit more and more of us were a little bit more comfortable going out, we did have an event where a bunch of us were able to meet each other in the Southwest, and that included Stacy Dyson, who was our featured reader at this particular event. And I frankly just remember her dynamic fire poetry and getting a standing ovation. But it's always great when she can join in, even if it's just to support, which I thought was the case today, but then I saw her sign up. So that's always a nice surprise. Let's go ahead and welcome back to the stage. Let's hear it for Stacy Dyson. Hey,
Thank you, darling. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Actually, hadn't planned to read today. I was just going to support, but then I didn't remember, but acknowledged. Today would have been Breonna Taylor's 30th birthday. And so I felt like I needed to go ahead and do the piece that I wrote for her. 27 erased by 8 equals blood on Daniel Cameron's hands. 27 erased by 8 equals no more dreaming and still no justice even now. 27 erased by 8 only equals more struggle and rest in power. And I know that mother's tears falling century down century did not keep you safe. I am sorry that our soft voices and white gloved hands and choir singing were not enough to keep you safe. Sorry that trying to fit into this tapestry, sacrificing to fit into this supposedly sweet and welcoming tapestry was not enough. Our not being angry was not enough to keep you breathing. And I don't know what you had planned for your birthday, but I do know that you were a woman, not a symbol. I know that sometime you must have fussed with your hair, fussed at your man, fussed about your job, got loud with your girls, got out in the streets singing and swinging and blinging so you could forget about your day. Laid up in the bed some days watching the rain, made love, made plans. I know that as a Black woman, there were some days you couldn't take it anymore. Felt like you couldn't see one more horror, but you stayed in the game. Went back the next day and did your job. There were days when you just got tired of being Black woman. Because that's what Black women do. That's what and who we are. We did everything we were supposed to. We trusted and prayed and held our heads up and made way out of no way. We took it. We worked with it. We held on, held it down, did the work, held it down, held it together, held on and on and on while this country, this place, did every wicked thing it could to tear us apart. We did everything we could, used every way we know, every day and night living the way we are supposed to live to save our children, and it still wasn't enough. Our holding it down, fighting the system, setting streets on fire, soft words, bowed heads, white gloves, swallowed humiliations, and word and tears and songs and suffering wasn't enough. The way we have been told we need to live our entire lives wasn't enough. You were still not safe. You were our daughter, our auntie, our little sister. No, not our mother. Never anyone's mother. We tried everything. You died anyway. Right now, you are on your way to becoming an icon. Your name will go down as a martyr to the cause. I am truly sorry for that, because no one deserves such a hellish honor. 27 erased by 8 should not equal political expedience, cover-ups, lies, does not justify or explain the dirt they tried to bury you with. 27 erased by 8 and wrong, and a mother who will never sleep again because her baby sleeps too young. And forever, why? For what? All she wanted, all anyone ever wants is to be human, flawed and free and human, flawed and alive and free to be human.
All right. Thank you, Stacy, for sharing that. Yes, thank you for keeping your memory alive and for that piece in particular. I know you do Tesoro and other
Mhm.
projects. Would you like to promote your projects and where people can follow and support your work online?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Saint Rains and find me on my website, order books there, order poems there, order workshops there, whatever you like. I'll put my website information in the chat. As far as Tesoro, which is my International Women's Poetry Network, our next event will be on June the 23rd. We are having the one, the only, the incomparable Sandy Shakes the Mic featuring for our general open mic Pen and Sword. That will be at 7 p.m. Pacific Coast time. So keep an eye and ear open for those announcements. Tesoro will be fairly busy online all summer long. So said, keep an eye out. Check out our website, which is www.firesingers.com to find out what we're up to and who we are and where we're going.
Perfect. Perfectly said. And of course, any links that you put down in the chat, I'll go ahead and share them on our YouTube channel so people can have access to that. Thank you, Stacy. Always great when you can join us. I'm also the proud owner of 2 books that were published in 2021, Lovely and Suffering, and Follow Me on This. Yeah, check those out. What else? Yeah, Sandy Shakes the Mic. We love her. Dope LA poet. She's been to El Paso several times. So we love Sandy. Shout out to Sandy Shakes the Mic. Let's go ahead and continue. We're gonna come back to Chuco Town and visit with someone who calls himself the unofficial BWOMS photographer, but that's the title they've given themselves. They're very much official BWOMS everything. They're part of the BWOMS crew and have quickly jumped in and helped with so much since they've moved into back to El Paso. You can find them online on Instagram, The King Grizz, where they share their visual art. And in addition to BWOMS has some really, really great events in June planned with Aaron and George's Film Cafe, an amazing local spot run by some friends. Shout out to Rebecca and Douglas. But right now we're going to go ahead and bring to the mic the one, the only Fernando Antonio Montejano. Take it away, my friend. Good to see you again.
Oh, always good to be here, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's been a wonderful night of poetry, my friends. I just want to say I've been here listening the whole time. I had a bunch of stuff to work on, so I stayed off camera as to not be distracted by my beautiful face. But I am excited to be here with all of you. Seriously, ever since I got here, it's been fantastic. But all right, so I know that I went super long last week. I was really excited about finding out about the art thing, and I got real giddy, and I just talked too much. So I've got 2 very short pieces about the sun, so I don't even have to explain very much about them because that's what they're about. and then one piece by another poet, so cover poem, of course. So this first piece is, I think we'll start with sunrise and we'll end with sunset, right? So this first piece is Feed Me Sunrise. This morning, I opened the windows and let the blinds up for the plants. Sunrise ate through me as I moved in those dusty rays of light that linger between particles and fibers and within moments of letting that wind in. The sounds of chirping birds bouncing off brick walls and those songs, jubilant and raucous over that chorus of morning daylight, they burrow into me and the day makes me a garden as I take these moments like seeds and plant them in myself with nothing else but poetry and the planet's subtle spinning. The stars will replace the sun, and the moon will greet me there. Yeah, that was about sunrise. And then my next one is about sunset, and then I'll read a cover poem. This is called Ode to Forgetting. Trying to find words to describe that moment when something hurts, but the sunset is a small wonder perched in cool orange tones and a night sky untucking itself from beneath the light's grasp. And you feel that hurt, but something about the way the wind blows in and smells just like all those moments you rolled the windows down on a hot day and tasted sundown and saw the burnt orange umber of a new day cresting and then dipping into the future where you don't have to worry about it for at least a little while. So right now you just feel good. All right. And then the last piece that I'll read for you today is a wonderful piece I was rediscovering. I was going through some of my old notes, and I remembered a workshop that I got to do that was about specifically, I think, was about emotions in writing and music. And so I thought that this was a really great piece. This is I'm not going to read the title because the title is the first line of the poem. But it's by a wonderful, absolutely fantastic, incredible modern day poet Hanif Abdurraqib. If you know Hanif, yeah, I was gonna say Kit. I feel like you should know Hanif because he sits right in your alley. He's writing poetry, he's writing essays about sports. So it makes a lot of sense. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you know this. He writes a lot of really, really, really incredible poetry about music that inspired him as he was growing up. But also he's an essayist for many things, books that are coming out, various sports events, a lot of basketball, but does more about other sports as well. Just incredible modern day writer. Fantastic. Oh yeah, and an incredible music writer as well. Not even just in poetry, but in about music as on its own, and it's fantastic. So yes, okay. Here's the poem. Like I said, the first line is the title. So when we were 13, Jeff's father left the needle down on a journey record before leaving the house one morning and never coming back. And this is why none of us sing along to Don't Stop Believin' when we are being driven by Jeff's mom, 4 boys packed in the back seat tight like the tobacco in them cigarettes Jeff's mom got riding shotgun with us around I-270 in a powder blue Ford Taurus, where 4 years later, Jeff will lose his virginity to a girl behind the East High School football field. Then later that night, his keys and pants in the school pool so that he has to run home crying to his mother with an oversized shirt and no pants like a cartoon bear. And the next day, when I hear this story, I will think about what it means for someone to become naked 2 times in one night, to rush into the warmth of 2 women, once becoming a man and once becoming a boy all over again. But right now, it is just us in this car with Jeff's mother. That cigarette smoke dancing from her lips until it catches the breeze from the cracked front window and glides back towards us, a vagabond, searching for a throat to move into and cripple while Neil Sean's guitar rides out the speakers, and I don't know how many open windows a man has to climb out of in the middle of the night in order to have hands that can make anything scream like that. Nothing knows the sound of abandonment like a highway does, not even God. In the 1980s, everyone wrote songs about someone leaving except for this one, because it's about how the morning explodes over 2 people in one bed who didn't know each other the night before, when alone was the only other option, and their homes had too many mirrors for all that shit. And so it is possible that this is the only song written in the 1980s about how fear turns into promise. I think I know this because there is so much piano spilling all over our laps that we can't help but to smile, since we still black and know nothing can ransack sorrow like a piano. Jeff's mother's hand trembles and still wears a wedding ring, so she pulls over to the side of the highway and turns the volume up so loud after the second guitar solo when the keys kick in again that we can barely hear the cocktail of laughter and crying consuming the front seat until the song fades away and the radio is low again and the ring, once on Jeff's mother's hand, is on the side of the highway beneath us, a sacrifice. And so maybe this is why Grandma said a piano can coax even the most vicious of ghosts out of a body. And so maybe this is why my father would stare at the empty spaces my mother once occupied, sit me down at a baby grand and whisper, "Play me something, child." Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you. And just really quick, I know I mentioned you have two events at Aaron and George's. Do you want to talk about those really quick before we move on to the next person?
Yeah. Really quickly, June 14th, I believe is the official date. I might get back to you. I'm pretty sure it's June 14th. We are having a really awesome queer poets, writers, artists night where we'll have hopefully a couple of vendors, people selling chapbooks, hopefully all queer local artists from the community. We'll actually be doing one of the local artists, trans poet Aranya, will actually be leading a writing workshop beforehand, and then everybody will have a chance to read whatever they wrote at the open mic and then anything else that they want to as well. So join us June 14th. We'll be doing that. It's going to be very exciting for Pride Month. And then June 27th is my birthday. So that Tuesday, I will actually be presenting a film. I'm very excited about it. It's one of my favorites. And I know it's a problematic director to some, but, I grew up with him and it's been a fantastic journey watching all of the films. So Tarantino's Death Proof, a fabulous homage to the classic shock value B movies from the back in the day that were immensely diverse and very exciting. So if you want to come and hear me do a movie essay as opposed to a poetry, that's one of my other passions is writing movie essays, film essays. So if you want to come and hang out June 27th, I will be presenting that. And I believe there will actually be Tres Leches cake as well by Rebecca, one of the owners who was making that for my birthday. So I'm very, very excited. So June 27th, come and hang out. I will throw my socials and my, sites up and whatnot. So if you guys want to donate or, commission me for stuff, you totally can. Thanks, everybody. I love being here.
All righty then. Thank you so much, Fernando. Appreciate you. You can also follow you on Instagram, the King Grizz, for more. All right. Thank you so much. All righty then. We're gonna go from El Paso to India. No problem, just like that. And we're going to welcome our next performer back to the stage. They host the Fertile Brains, and I'll let them talk a little bit more about that. You can also find them at the_unruly_poetaster. Let's go and welcome to the stage Prasanna Kumar. Hey, welcome back to the show. Good to see you here. Hey.
Hi, Richie. How's it going? It's been a long time. Thanks for having me. I must thank Finn for sharing this link. And yes, hi, Dane. How is it going? And Dane is, with us last Sunday, and we are coming up with an anthology, and it's soon to be published. And, background, you could see that. We rise by lifting others is the one. And Dane is a part of that book, and it's such a nice, it consists 160 poets to say, but yes, that was something so beautiful to look forward, and I wish you all would all join in, the releasing function. So, anyways, this is a poem written, basing on the prompt. If you could see, is creating ripples. Creating ripples. The squall made a whisper, to which she jolted with shivering. Change of season haven't made an effect on her otherwise stance, wherein she lost herself in the morose of pain. Creeping noises and cries have become her feet of mind. The blows of wind and the trickle of a downpour never fell into the ears, as all senses have been shut. She bore the raining injuries, not bodily stings, yes, feelings never even doubted to touch the no boning of hope. Gnawed by the nerves making her brain dead, she created no ripples that could tilt in the lilt with humming or crooning a song. Everything is blank. No sun, no moon could ever make feel their impression. So that was it. And that was something, downside of, a woman who's been affected by, trials and tribulations, and she's been a rape victim. That is something I tried to put it forward. So that is it. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Fernando. Thank you. That was lovely, for, listening to you all. And please join us on every Sunday on Fertile Brains. We are having 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 11 a.m. 9:30 around US timing. I'll share the description so you could join in all. You could follow YouTube and page on Facebook. Thank you.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And please share that way so we can spread that, everyone. Prasanna. Check out the Fertile Brains. Love having you on the show. We are going to go ahead and there it is right there. Oh man. You see, you have to, it's so global, you have to include so many different time zones. Look at that. Look at that. All right. So we are nearing the end. And in a rare instance, I want to give some love to Finn Bell. She was a little tired, so dropped out today, but she always writes some fun little tidbits in the bio. So we won't see her today, but I just want to give a shout out to all her events that she does with Finnacabulary and the Poetry Global Network. Check those things out. And Ed isn't here, Ed Poetastic. That's a rare one. So if he makes it or not, we are nearing the end of the list. But I see we have our friend Julian Matthews in Malaysia. He is here and he is signing up right now, and that would mean he would also be up next on the mic. And if anyone else here wants to read, we have Terry as well. Jenny, maybe today's the day. Jenny's such a huge supporter, tunes in. But let us know, shoot me a message. But we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna go to Malaysia and check in with Julian Matthews. So it's been a little while, so it's always really cool to see him here. Julian, what is up, man? Hey. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure you're here. There you are. All right, let's switch it up.
I was just signing up. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Good to have you here. It's been a little while. Good to see you.
Yeah. Can I share screen?
Okay, you should be able to now.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Where am I? Sorry. Haven't done this in a bit. Here we go. The pitter patter. You ask why I write so many I am sad poems, and I say my words are earthworms. After rainfall, they breathe easier on the surface, or else they'll drown with me underground. Some are easy pickings for birds hungry to serve. Some are in search of deeper graves. I'm wary of smiley, happy people, those who claim to have it all together, the cheerleaders who are only there for the game, but vanish when there's no applause to be gained. Too chill to understand, too cheerless to step into their own misery. I'd rather be real than play pretend. This is the mound I die on. It's a morbid calling, I know, a failing grail quest, a never-ending path of broken trails. My wallowing is a fall off the wonder wall. Every night I creep down a crypt of deathly halos. Depression doesn't take a day off. You can't catch a break from loneliness. You can't take sick leave from being just sad. Some days are bad days just because. I no longer want this dread inside me. I put it out there as a salve, a reprieve, a relief. It's the long goodbye for these unburied pain. My poems are earthworms, sensing the storm above. They hear the pitter-patter of rain, then arise to meet their maker. Depression is the dirt they crawl out of. Grief is a shallow grave, and I am its slave. Thank you. The last poet, 2037. His eyes are roomy, his dreams, nightmares that once filled a room. He no longer cares to zoom, all is dreary, all is gloom. Who wants to hear about waters rising when another turd has been crowned? When crypto is as worthless as the pound? When artificial bards are just hacked clowns? When all the poets have drowned? They say in jest he's a man of letters whose poetry posts are all returned to sender, an unnatural, inorganic verse maker, liver feeder, wacky weeder. You could follow the brambles of his veins to his bristly heart, coiled like an unclaimed fist in search of a fight. To say he was a foil is his unworthy metaphor. He was more switchblade than saber. He was the forged steel blade of a katana, precision precision slicer, poetic polarizer. But the years have started to take their toll, weighing his soul. His bold words lay stashed in cold ether, fossilized in the clouds' hold. His pen, once a lance, is frozen in midair. He's a knight lost in his grail quest, a boxer knocked out in his final test, a drunkard at the bar who has become just another pest. All that was poetry is now impaled in his mind's sage eye, in trembling fingers over lifeless pages. He walks on broken eggshells in an emptied nest, rotting leaf on overstory, still reaching for manna. When a poet falls in his own flaming forest alone, does anyone hear the crackle of his last burning stanza? Every new day comes the realization of his own uncoiling mortality. All rhythms dissolve into an amnesiac sea. The tide pulls ever further away from the shore. The sands slip into slumber. He is a pilgrim gripped in godless fear. A nomad in search of an oasis of tears, he stumbles to face his final hibernating bear. Alas, a glimmer of truth appears in the horizon. His dead companion barks in the distance, and he seizes his moment, scribbling furiously before it's lost in a mirage of his own making. His benevolent ghost muse smiles in the shadows. His wise dragon snorts further afield in misty meadows. The future yanks him up the Sisyphean mountain in a palliative noose, even as his past coils around his toes. Poison creeper on the loose. At some point on that mound, he makes a stand on the grassy knoll, catches up with the man. In the end, the saints release his arthritic hand, unlocks all the shades of gray, and lets the color flow again. Another poem, his last, unfurls from the sodden earth to whisper, "You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone." Poetry needs us all to know we are not alone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for that reminder as well. Julian Matthews. Also, it's been so long since you've been here. Some people are probably seeing you for the first time. How can people connect with you and follow your work online? If they choose to do so.
I'll drop a link in the chat. Thank you.
Shit, sorry, I was talking while unmuted. Thank you so much. That is one hell of a writing prompt too, The Last Poet. So thank you so much for sharing that. I will forward that link as well to the people on YouTube. Once again, thanks to everyone who has tuned in. I don't hold on, let me double check. All right, I don't see anyone else who has signed up. I'm gonna do one last call. I unintentionally did a Hulk Hogan taunt there, listening out for the peeps out there in the YouTube verse, the Zoom verse. Alrighty then. So if that's the case, then we do want to thank.
Sign up.
Oh, did you?
I didn't, but if you want, I can read. I didn't sign up though.
Oh no, okay. I messaged you, so I wasn't sure you hadn't gotten back to me. So we got the Chameleon Poetic in the house, New Jersey. All right, cool. I wasn't sure. Let's go ahead and bring up Terry, and then we can go ahead and go to our friend Dan to close it out. Terry, how are you doing tonight? Go ahead and take it away.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Let me think what I want to do tonight. I can do this one called The Calling, which is one of my favorite pieces. It's in my book, The Chameleon Chronicles, which you can get on, you can get through me on Facebook under Terry Rose Jertson, or I am on Instagram under The Chameleon Poetic. When I was in third grade, approximately 8 years old, I was mandatorily required to attend church every day except Saturday. Children, as the rule of the day, were to be seen and not heard. I could not voice my displeasure or risk getting a beating with the belt for back talk. Punishment was corporal. DCP and P did nothing back then. If I dare buck the system. Having independent thoughts was always risky and never fully understood by my elders. As I grew, I learned about the Holy Order and thought perhaps if I was good enough that God would take me in and save me from my sin and the rest of the world, which seemed so corrupted to me at the time. I tried to be good. I did everything the nuns told me. I prayed hard. I meditated on God's creation, but not his word, because that was only for the highly educated priests who had the calling and could interpret all the symbolic and secret languages penned by the saints of God. I asked myself the question, could I be a saint? My family said no way. Why was that idea so far out there? Weren't the priests and nuns at one time someone's sons or daughters? Were they not human or transformed into something greater? I would not give up my quest. I wore the scapula. It was blessed. I was instructed if I never took it off that I would automatically go to heaven. I told my mom when she asked why I would never take it off, but she seemed to be annoyed by my answer. My mom had a general annoyance with all things associated with the church at the time. She, for one, did not believe that we had to attend Catholic school. I remember my parents disagreeing about many things back then, before the divorce. However, I knew I had the calling and no one was going to tell me otherwise. When I mentioned this to the Holy Order, they did not take it seriously. When I mentioned this to my mother, she just laughed and said, no woman in this family could ever be a nun. She said I would not understand this until I was older. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. And how can people follow you online?
Well, I mentioned earlier, the Chameleon Poetic is my Instagram handle. And on Facebook, it was Teresa Rose Dirtson, but Facebook keeps on messing with me. So I had to make a new Facebook account. And now this one's called Terry Rose Dirtson. So much different.
All right. There you go.
There it is.
There you go. That's kind of, yeah, it's kind of more what I was thinking, is because I know you recently had to replace that and all that. So
AI be damned. I hate AI.
Yeah.
I want people to answer the phone I call, damn it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chameleon Poetic. Thanks again for coming out and reading. Appreciate it. Righty then. In fact, in that time, we have more added to our list. So next up, we have Teso Somok in LA that will be sharing a little bit. And after that, I believe Ed just joined up. So we'll have Tez, Ed, and then Dan the Man. As far as the night is looking right now, once again, thanks for tuning into the online open mic. You can follow me online at Deadwall Reveries. But right now, let's tune in with Mr. Teso Somok. What's up, man?
Hey, sorry, I'm late. I've been on the road, and I tried to do the New Eurekan on my phone, and it was a total disaster. So I'm gonna try to make up for it here. So I wanted to do another episode of Time Tacos. I don't have any music to torture Kit with today, we're almost out of the end of Act 1. We have two more kind of elements we have to cover. One of them is the refusal and the inciting incident to travel. So I think this is a little bit, it's still a little bit rough, but it is the segment on the refusal to go on an adventure. Skippy is in a cold sweat, his heart pounding in his chest. He's just in the middle of the most vivid dream of his life. In the dream, Oscar Zeta Acosta, his hero, has come to speak to him about the injustices in East LA. Skippy knows too well. He's grown up in this area and knows the struggles too well. Oscar tells him about the many young lives that have been lost in the ghetto of East LA. He speaks of the racism, the discrimination, the lack of hope and opportunity that exist. He talks about how young men are excluded from society and often end up losing their lives to drugs, prison, or violence. Skippy knows firsthand the truth of what Oscar is saying. He's seen his friends and family members fall prey to the lure of drugs and the violence of gangs. He'd seen friends get locked up for minor offenses, their futures forever change. In this dream, Oscar is offering him a chance to change the course of history, to go back to a time when young men had to face impossible odds and come out on top. He tells Skippy about Mago Pachuco, the magical time traveler who could take him back to the Punic Wars. There he could learn from various warriors who had fought against all odds and won against the mighty Roman Empire. Skippy is intrigued. He has always been interested in history, and the Punic Wars were a fascinating era that he studied. But to actually go back in time and meet the great Hannibal and the Hannibal Barca and his brothers Mago and the other ones and his Carthaginian warriors, that is a once in a lifetime opportunity. He talks to his best friend Tito, and Tito is all for it. Tito is a bit of a wild card, always up for adventure. The two of them are still battling the indecision about whether to entrust themselves in this incredible journey. Skippy, sitting alone in his apartment, lost in thought, another day, another dollar. Is this what life has become? Endless routines. Oh my God. Sorry about that. Endless routines. I can't figure out how to shut this thing off. All right. My home where we spent my entire existence, but what do I have to show for it? Where is my future? He pauses and contemplates his options. Skippy. Then there's Mago Pachuco and his absurd offer. Time, taco, travel to the Punic Wars? Is this some kind of joke? I mean, who even believes in time travel? But what if it's real? What? He stands up, pacing back and forth. What if I could leave everything behind? He takes a deep breath, conflicted. Skippy. East LA, the place that molded me, that shaped my identity, that the vibrant streets, the rich culture, the taco trucks and the vendedores and the paleteros and the mangueros and the eloteros, the sense of belonging. It's a part of who I am. But where is it leading me? More of the same, more struggles, more limitations. He stops, feeling a surge of determination. Skippy. No, I can't keep living this way. It's time to take a leap of faith, to embrace the unknown. If Mago Pachuco's offer is real, if I can truly travel through time, then maybe I'll find my malicia, my common sense. Maybe I'll discover the purpose and the direction that my life so desperately needs. Skippy's inner struggle runs deep, entwined with his cultural heritage and the obligations he feels towards his first generation Mexican-American parents. They work tirelessly, sacrificing their own dreams for the hope of a better life for their children. Skippy wrestles with the weight of the historical and traditional obligations that have been passed down to him. As a Chicano youth, Skippy carries the aspirations and dreams of his family, a lineage deep rooted in their Mexican heritage. The notion of leaving behind his responsibilities, even temporarily, fills him with guilt, uncertainty. How can he justify abandoning these obligations for personal exploration and self-discovery? I think we can leave it here.
Alrighty then. Thank you, Tez. Any promotion, anything you want to promote, or how can people follow and support you online?
Well, as Dane would say, it's all self-promotion, So let's be upfront. Of course, folks can catch me on Instagram under Gaseous 2019, on Facebook on Pandemic Poets. And if you really like the work I'm doing, you can support by purchasing my books on Amazon. Pick up my latest book, I Am Not Your Chihuahua. And let me know. We're almost out of Act 1 out of Time Tacos, and it looks like we're getting a good response from other places I'm reading, so I think I may continue it.
That's pretty cool. You should do that thing where you set up with a typewriter and you could do time tacos a la carte.
Oh, I love it.
Type them up. And then you got to fold it not hot dog style, taco style.
Yeah.
To give it to them. All right. Thank you, Tess. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All righty then. We're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to go from the West Coast to Washington, D.C., where Mr. Eddie P. may be. That's right. Let's go and make some noise and welcome to the stage, Mr. Ed Poetastic. Hey, man.
Hey, brother, like no other with words like thunder. Thank you for our wonderful Monday night that makes us our Mondays a delight in the wonderful spotlight. Whew. Hello, my name is Ed Poetastic. Hope you're feeling fantastic. Please get a time to join Ryan for All Feel Sublime. Happy Pride Month. I got 3 poems. First poem is called Colorful Bow. A little black for what is that? A little white to spread the light. A little tan, it's always in demand. A little red to make it bright up ahead. A little brown to make it like the ground. A little orange, no color should be hinged. A little yellow for more of a glow. A little green to be less mean. A little blue to clear our view. A little pink to relax and calmly sink. A little gray to, what can I say? A little silver to make it deliver. A little gold to make it look bold. A little indigo to make hearts explode. A little violet to make it a smashing hit. It's a rainbow to tie up in one big bow. Love your color, love like no other. Love to recover and not suffer. Thank you. And here's another one. This is called I Have a Dream. I have a dream we can love each other. I have a dream we can we can respect each other. I have a dream we can understand each other. I have a dream we can support each other. I have a dream we can educate each other. I have a dream we can cherish each other. I have a dream we can guide each other. I have a dream we can inspire each other. I have a dream we could hold each other. I have a dream we can empower each other. I have a dream we can shelter each other. I have a dream we could feed each other. I have a dream we could protect each other. I have a dream we can strengthen each other. I have a dream we could heal each other. I have a dream we can nurture each other. I have a dream we can radiate with each other. I have a dream we can lift up each other. I have a dream we could celebrate each other. I have a dream we could prosper with each other. I have a dream we could free each other. I have a dream we can live in harmony with each other. I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. Thank you. I got one more for Encore Forevermore. This is called. I can find it. This is called What They Say About You. They say about you. What they say about you, I really don't care. Names are on labels. They're not here or there. Labeled or instantly disabled. The wall in dark despair. Know what some say about MLK and Gandhi? It really wasn't pleasant or nice. They helped in a deep passion degree, even for a painful price. But you understand, words are only words. They can be either iron or sand. Don't be too disturbed. They can't command or demand. When someone said anything bad about you, pay no thought or mind. They don't know what you do. Leave their dark clouds behind. Get lost in your adventurous views. Do not mind them. Be aligned while they stay blind. They don't control your fate. Don't push your buttons or pull your strings. Let them bask in their self-hate. Pursue your unique golden wings. We can all relate. Life is whatever you create. Thank you. Woo!
All right, Ed, thank you so much. And as always, man, I got to ask you, where can the fine people find you?
Well, you can find me at this wonderful open mic that makes their Monday night Sizzle Delight in the wonderful Protesta Spotlight. Thank you for the wonderful insight and light. If you want to follow me, please feel free. My Facebook's 80 Foreman and my IG 80 Foreman 92. And remember, if the mic is right, I'll be there to shine my plus insight. If you send me a request, if you take guests, answer is yes. Hope everyone stay safe, positive, and blessed. Now stop spewing the wonderful words outside your chest. Now start feeling, doing, and thinking your best. Woo!
Yeah, Eddie P, the place to be. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, once again, action-packed night, lots of performers. Shout out to everyone who has read so far. It's always great to hear everyone's work and the kind of stuff that you're reading and working on. As always, like a good routine, if you can't tell with some of my routines with a lot of the regulars. As always, as we close the night, it is time to make a call to the bullpen. It's time for the closer. I'm going to call the right-hander to come in and close out the game, close out the show. Let's go ahead and bring up to the mic. He is the one, the only Mr. Dan the Man. Take it away, Dan.
How's it going, everybody? Yeah. Well, guess what I'm doing right now? It is in honor of Pride Month. Yep. Because we always know Pride Month is also in lieu of the strong support of the LGBTQ community. And yes, always Pride Month. And yes, we say gay. That's right. So beat that, Ron DeSantis. All right. All right. Well, and yes, since we're entering the 6th month of the year, and since 2.5 weeks away till I'm down to 18 final days of 17 final days of my 30s. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mike. As 17 final days of my 3rd decade, I'm about 18 days away till I enter the 4th decade of my life, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. And speaking of that, we have a new month, A Child's Calendar by John Updike, the month of June. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. Here we go. June. The sun is rich and gladly pays in golden hours, in silver days, and long green weeks that never ends. School's out. The time is ours to spend. There's Little League, hopscotch, the creek, and after supper, hide and seek. The lifelong light is like a dream, and freckles come like flies to cream. Yeah, there it is, kids in this. And yep. There it is. And there it is. Once again, Child's Calendar by John Updike. The month of June. Okay. All right. Well, as we all know, this coming, hold on. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Claus, we know in lieu of Pride Month, but we know next week will mark 7 years of the Orlando tragedy that we're very sad, but always my thoughts and prayers is out to everybody in Orlando. But this never dies. Pride Month never dies. So we don't lie, but love still flies. And even though we still have the pride, and let's ride. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Read it and weep. Behind posts on Twitter and Facebook. I'm trying to catch up on Instagram, but most importantly, subscribe to Dan Demands Weekly on YouTube and search the title and watch it. Then subscribe to the channel. And don't forget the hashtag Dan Demands Weekly. Okay. And like I said, I'm planning a birthday get together for my 40th birthday. So it'll be the day after my birthday. So about in 2 weeks from Saturday. So we'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted when the updates come available. So, and I'm still looking for poets who want to make a performance, and especially comedians and some music performance. So hoping to make my 40th birthday a very special one. So, and I'm planning to write a poetry about that, about my four decades. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great one. Have a good night. I'll see you guys next Monday. And all right, Richie, let's call it a night. Richie?
Right, I just had to leave it on you for a couple minutes, Alrighty then. Thank you so much, everyone who came out online from the comfort of their own homes or workspaces or offices in your homes to join us. As always, we are here every single Monday, so I do want to welcome you or invite you to join us next Monday. As always, we do post a link on our social media, so you can follow us at the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. I usually post it there. Again, we do have a link tree, so if you follow us on Instagram, if you just type in Barbed Wire Open Mic, we will show up. We do have a link in our bio. That's our link tree, a bunch of stuff there, including the sign up sheet. It goes up there first. When you go to our link tree page, there is an option to subscribe. So pretty much it's kind of like the newsletter thing. It just when you subscribe, you get notified as soon as I put a new link. And every time I put a new link, I send that out to people. So that's one way to get the fastest way to get the list. But other than that, I do post on the Pandemic Poets and any other spaces that I should post. Let me know. But other than that, we will be back next Monday. As I mentioned, we will see you guys. Hopefully everyone has a great week. Hopefully we got it off to a good start. So for the live stream, my name is Rich. You can follow me again, Dead Wall Reveries on Instagram. And on there, I have a link to all my other places that you can contact me. And we will see you next Monday. Have a good week, everyone. Good night. Bye.